So while Kush shares his screen, a quick intro from our side. Thanks a lot, first of all, folks, for joining in on this webinar. This is a pretty new space, right? In a lot of geographies, AI search is just catching up. So really appreciate you guys being those early adopters and actually putting in efforts to learn what's happening in the market, how things are changing, etc. Right? Really also pushes us to kind of put in more stuff like this out. This is a series of webinar that we have been doing. This is the second of those webinars, and I think in the first webinar also the we had really good conversations and post that as well. So great. Today, I think the elephant in the room is the Chat GPT's instant checkout, right? So we are going to go deep into what is it all about, right? What is OpenAI's instant checkout? Why does it matter, right? Why are we, you know, why do we actually put in efforts to get visibility on ChatGPT, right? And Kush, if you can go to the first slide, please. Yeah. And what can you actually do today to make sure that you are visible better, right? Changes that you can make to the website, to your product descriptions, to your FAQ schemas, and anything related to generative engine optimization. What actions can you take today? How can you optimize your brand or website for AI search? And what should you exactly track to measure the improvement that you see? Because right now, in most cases, the only data point you have is the direct referral traffic coming in from ChatGPT, right? But what about the top of the funnel metrics? So we'll cover that as well towards the end of the webinar. Perfect. So to start with, what's this ChatGPT instant checkout is all about, right? Before we get into the new rollout by ChatGPT, I think it's important to address that shopping experience has changed again, right? Uh, we moved from brick and mortar stores where we would go into a store, buy physical products, take them home, and we would probably go into multiple stores and then decide what to buy, right? Then we move from there to an online shopping experience where you don't have to go to a store, you can just browse products, on websites, go to multiple websites, check out multiple products, and then decide what you want to buy. But again, this experience was still very personal and it required human effort, right? To understand what product is good, what product is bad, read reviews, in case of, let's say, when we used to go to brick and mortar store, feel the fabric, understand how the product is, and then buy it, right? But I think right now the change, the inflection point where we are standing, where we are moving towards AI agent interface, where instead of actually going through multiple products, doing our own research, understanding what others users have in mind on our own, and then deciding what to buy, we are going to prompt an AI agent, give them understanding of what we are looking for, let's say what is our taste, color, etc., that we are looking for, and then make a purchase, right? So this brings us to a point where when we are selling our products, we just don't have to sell our products to a human. But apart from that, we have to sell it to an AI agent so that it can refer our product or recommend our product to the users that are looking for products that are similar to ours. Right? So shopping experience has completely changed, right? But moving to the next slide, if we look at how the search itself has changed a lot when we move from a Google search to an AI search results from ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. Right? On the left, you see a search for best laptop for gaming on Google, right? There are a bunch of popular products. There are different categories of products then based on, let's say, brand, based on certain GPUs, based on the operating system, based on the prices, right? Then you have the sponsored links also on the right. But at the same time, if you look at the results from a chat GPT, right, it will give you information on the decision criteria it is using. Ultimate, let's say for top gaming laptops, ultimate power in terms of desktop replacement, premium and sleek, so that it is talking about qualities. talking about budget, and then finally recommending a bunch of products, right? So there are two things here that are happening. One, ChatGPT is doing its own research based on the product feeds that it already has, or the way it is scrolling on different product pages based on that. Then the reviews on the internet, understanding of overall how to select the best laptop, right? So all of this research is done by ChatGPT. You are only going to get two to three, five product recommendations. Obviously, you can prompt ChatGPT to give you more recommendations, but by default, you will get, let's say, four to five product recommendations. But on the other hand, when it was a Google era only, you would see 20 products. You could go to the page, 30th page, and still find products that are relevant to your search, right? So that's not happening. This means it becomes more and more important for us to make sure that our products are ranking on top, because it's not just ranking on the first page of Google anymore. It's actually being able to make to that top five recommendation that an AI search engine makes, right? So it makes our job more difficult, but obviously, it also makes sure that the products that are being recommended by ChatGPT, they are more contextual, right? So best laptop for gaming could be different for different folks. And that's what ChatGPT will do. It is more contextual, right? So, but yeah, this is a big change, right? Moving on to the next slide, we will exactly look at what is instant checkout. If you folks haven't had a chance to actually go through the release from OpenAI directly, this is what it basically means, right? ChatGPT, inside ChatGPT now, if you search for a certain product, let's say you search, can you help me find a great housewarming gift for my friend? Maybe something ceramic under $100, right? ChatGPT is going to give you some recommendation for products like it used to give. But earlier, you had to go outside of ChatGPT's interface and then buy the product. So it was just links that you can use to buy products, but you couldn't do anything inside ChatGPT. There were a few problems with this. One, the user experience was not very good, right? So that's why shopping related queries, which were transactional, were not very high on ChatGPT. It was largely dominated with informational queries, right? Second, the conversion rate, which is already really good. Like if you compare conversion rate versus Google for a ChatGPT, it's actually 8x better, right? But this will further improve the conversion rate because the friction point of moving outside ChatGPT's interface is completely removed, right? So what we do is search for the product, select a particular product that is relevant for us. Then, we choose what we want to add to the cart. In that same interface, you get the merchant's display as well, where you can select your payment method and actually pay inside ChatGPT, right? So this is crazy. In a single interface, you went from chat to purchase. It's basically acts like your personal shopping assistant, right? Where you can search for any product. You don't have to move out of, that interface. I think in it you would also see a point where you could just use ChatGPT to make payments as well, right? But this is crazy, and I think this will improve or increase the number of people searching for transactional shopping related queries across the board on ChatGPT for all the products, right? So that's where this instant checkout method really helps. But moving on, the best part about these results right now is that these are not paid, right? So every recommendation that ChatGPT makes, it's just from an organic perspective. So if we nail down visibility across these platforms like ChatGPT Perplexity, if we are able to make our PDPs, FAQs, everything related to our product in such a way that ChatGPT one is able to crawl our products, understand our products, and make sure that it recommends for the right audience, then we are good to go. We don't have to spend extra for that, right? In the current rollout, the user base is where it is available to everybody across the board, ChatGPT Plus Pro free users across US and India, right? It will be rolled out to other geographies very, very soon, right? Right now, it is live with all the Etsy sellers, 1 million plus products live already. The funny thing is that Etsy's stock jumped by 16% just on announcement day. Shopify merchants are coming soon. 1 million plus Shopify merchants will be onboarded, but some priority Shopify merchants are already online, like Skims, Glossier, Spanx, etc. For the Indian demographic, the pilot has been done with a big basket and we, right? But we'll see more and more merchants. This is just the starting, right? And I think later in this webinar, Kush will also cover on how custom coded websites can integrate with this instant checkout method. And obviously, this is just ChatGPT doing it, right? You will have Google AI mode integrated with shopping experience, Perplexity integrated with shopping experience, and that will just change how people shop altogether, right? So, but moving on, why does it actually matter? Should you put in efforts? Why today? Why now, etc. Right? You must have those questions. So one is, like we discussed earlier as well, search itself has changed. Your user journey has changed, right? So if you look at traditional search versus AI search as a business model, the goal for a traditional search was index the web, provide the most relevant search results based on the keywords that the users have inputted, right? Obviously, it is not providing any context on additional context on why this product is a fit or not. So it is similar to a Bloomingdale's where you go in, you browse through different brands, different products, you go to the checkout counter and buy the stuff that you want. But for an AI search, it wants to understand the web, provide the most relevant and in-depth opinion for the user based on the context as well, right? So it has to put in more efforts, more research, understand what is a good product, what is a bad product, understand the reviews, and then suggest something, right? So it acts more like a shopping assistant to us, right? So it goes to multiple stores with you, selects fabric, understands why this color, why this dress suits you better, why that dress suits you better, right? So the goal itself is completely different. The input type is also different. We are not focused on strings of keywords like blue shirt or running shoes. We are looking at, I am going to a wedding, I am styling a black pant, and I want a blue shirt for that. Suggest me some top recommendations. Or I am looking at, I am running a marathon during winters. Let's say, I weigh 80 kgs and I want a running shoes, recommend the best for me, right? So these are directed queries with more context that we are giving to AI search. Result page, completely different. Already discussed the differences between how in-depth the insights are on ChatGPT. How they make money is also different, at least today, right? Driving high quality traffic to external websites is the only way Google makes money, right? But for ChatGPT, the that model is completely different, right? It is only reliant on paid customers. So they are incentivized to make sure that people engage with their platform more and more, right? The user journey is also completely different. We are not looking at search something, see links, go to the websites, and then look for a product. The journey is like ask, review the insights, ask follow-up questions, and then dive deeper into it, finalize the product, right? So these are completely different aspects of these searches. The market is also growing day by day. AI search traffic grew by 583% from 2024, right? Right now, there are 7.5 billion visits that are happening to AI search platform. This is from August 2025, right? And this is up by 150% year on year. ChatGPT is been completely dominating the market, 5.8 billion visits monthly, 700 million users weekly, and 78.2% market share overall, right? So that's the biggest market. And though these guys have launched the the shopping experience, right? Conversion rate, if you look at, as I mentioned earlier as well, leads from ChatGPT convert 8.8x better than organic Google result, right? So this is also crazy. We have seen this across the board. A lot of our clients seeing insane conversion rate from ChatGPT, right? On top of this, if I talk about user growth, right? AI search users have grown by 743 million, doubled just in the last 1 year, right? On the other hand, Google users are almost same, right? So this shows the adoption curve and where we are headed as well, right? But moving on, uh, just wanted to also cover industry-wise how things are changing. So the graph you see right now is a 90-day growth percentage by industry on ChatGPT, right? This data, it shows that e-commerce related queries are the second highest, have the second highest growth rate, right? And it is only going to become bigger because now you can shop inside ChatGPT. It is not just a search engine, right? So, and it is predicted that by the end of 2025, ChatGPT would go out 20% of overall traffic, which is crazy because ChatGPT is just 20 months old versus a Google, which is 20 years old, right? So, but yeah, the numbers are crazy. E-com lies second in the number of growth, like the amount of growth we are seeing, right? But moving on, even users have spoken, right? 66% of consumers are interested in trying Gen AI powered conversational commerce, right? People have already expressed interest in making their lives easier, which is not a surprise, right? Everybody wants that. 48% of millennials and nearly 50% of Gen Z have already used AI shopping assistants across the board, right? Another thing is that when you search on Google, due to vocabulary gaps, there could be 40 to 60% potential matches that we miss. And that will be covered by ChatGPT because it is more intelligent, it can understand the context better. So this means that we have both from a platform perspective and from a user perspective, both of these things covered. But the last and the most important point is that yeah, it's practically free right now, right? As we mentioned earlier, that you don't have to pay to rank high on ChatGPT, right? You're not competing with bigger players. Even a small player, if does things properly, can basically rank on top on ChatGPT, right? Obviously, this is still Sam decides otherwise, but till this last, I think it makes sense for a lot of us to kind of put in efforts to make sure that we rank better on these platforms. This was from the ChatGPT instant checkout rollout and why this matters. Now I'll invite Kush to take us through, the technical part of what you should do depending on, which platform you're on currently.
Thank you so much, Ishan, for the introduction and taking us through how the entire market is changing and essentially how, ChatGPT definitely has rolled out a lot of new features which helps brands to not only get their market share up there and drive revenue from these products, but also, move into the future of what the commerce holds for you. If we talk about the latest launch, the instant checkout feature, it's essentially for three main category of folks. One, for Shopify merchants. What we have seen as being one of the most important factors here is you uploading and updating your product category on a regular basis so that AI indexing is happens on a regular basis as well, and implementing structured data, which is schema markup across all of your products. This essentially helps the AI crawlers read your product better, be it, let's say, in terms of how you describe the different material on which your product is made, or the size, fits, and everything else. Apart from that, enabling API access for inventory sync is also super important, as well as setting up return policies and using this particular app called Shopify Knowledge Base. Essentially, what happens using this app on Shopify is you can view and customize the frequently asked questions on your product and collection pages that typically AI agents sort of use to answer questions about your brand. So this gives you a layer of better understanding what your customers are asking and then changing your frequently asked questions to cater to those. Apart from that, for Etsy merchants, the instant checkout feature, as Ishan mentioned, is already launched and live. So there, optimizing product titles with natural and conversational language is very important. This essentially means in your description of the products, you don't want to use a lot of very technical or very difficult to understand text. It has to be much more natural in way how you describe your product to someone else. Apart from that, Comprehensive descriptions is also super important about the product. And then the similar things like real-time inventory management so that they are updated in time, keeping your pricing competitive to other competitors, as well as building a strong review profile. We've seen more people buy products and LLMs basically cite them much more if they have more than 4+ stars. That's definitely a important factor as well. Implementing and uploading high quality product images, that too from multiple angles, is also super important. That is something that we recommend for that piece as well. Then for merchants who are not on Shopify and Etsy, but have their sites built on custom coded solutions. For them, there is something called Agentic Commerce Protocol that OpenAI has released. So we would go over that in the next slide, but that's a technical, algorithm that they have developed that basically we have to implement from our end. We have to, apart from that, integrate from whatever payment provider you have, like Stripe's shared payment token, and ensure that your inventory is again updated within time. A lot of other things remain the same, but we would definitely share a lot of these checklist items with you post the webinar so that you can basically get visible on these checkout features as soon as possible. So the agentic commerce protocol that I mentioned in the last slide is basically a standard developed by OpenAI and is a link between them and Stripe and Razorpay or other payment providers. As you can see in the image, essentially the flow that typically happens when a user comes on a ChatGPT, they search for a particular item, it goes through to the merchant, and the merchant suggests different fulfillment options that they have in terms of the items and the address of their location. And based on that, the sales tax and final price is calculated by the merchant as well. And then the entire piece of giving the final amount on the OpenAI system, ChatGPT system, and the user, sort of selecting the pay option from there, basically helps complete the flow of you paying for the product and getting the delivery done. So it's a mix between how user and merchant interacts here. And for all custom coded sites, as I mentioned, integrating this protocol would be super important. Now, your next obvious question would be how do I implement it and how do I basically understand this better? There's a simple form that we would link on the chat as well, and we'll send in the follow up as well. It's a simple merchant application form where a lot of top brands are already filling this out. And once you have filled this out, essentially OpenAI is rolling this on a case by case basis as they see the search volume of people sort of coming here and this feature being a hit. So would definitely recommend you to fill this out as soon as possible. Now, what we have seen being in the industry for around 2 years is that you can't think of checking out and sort of people purchasing your products if you're not discoverable at all by them at the first time. It won't be the case that you fill out this form or you basically are on Etsy and you update your product titles and everything. And then you would be basically cited on ChatGPT and people would be able to purchase your products. You would still need to optimize your brand so that they get visible on these AI platforms. Now, how do you do that? Traditional SEO efforts usually fall short here. As we have seen, 80% of AI sources aren't in the Google's top 10 links on a Google search. And then AI platforms themselves use different ranking signals, be it, let's say, how you write the content to, how much PR or backlinks you have generated from other high quality sites. All of that plays a big role that I'll cover in the next few slides. But apart from that, for here, conversational context is super important and is relatively more important than just focusing on certain keywords. And definitely the opportunity that we have seen here is first movers definitely gain a massive visibility advantage with the algorithms of sort of favoring those people that understand and answers what people want to sort of know about the brand and the product. And it has definitely has a lower competition than traditional SEO while delivering a higher return and conversion rate. we have some of the results that we have driven for our clients, we have put in a small table in the right, where be it from a fintech SaaS or a manufacturing and compliance B2B company, by implementing certain GEO, which is generative engine optimization techniques, like adding FAQs, answering Reddit AMAs, implementing backend code solutions like LLM TXT, putting schema. All of this has sort of increased not just the non-branded AI overview appearance, but actually driving net new revenue from these sources. Lovely. So, given I've set up all of this context, what logically makes sense is for us to cover how would you actually optimize for a search like this. And this might sound very daunting and very complex, but at the very core, it's very simple. And ChatGPT or any AI platform essentially favors those that are contextually relevant and answer the questions that people are asking. Now, how do you manifest that? First is definitely expanding your product pages. For a lot of our clients that we work with, when we started working with them, they had a very simple and a thin product page. As you can see in the example here on the right, when we optimize that page, we added a lot of different content up there. In be it, let's say, the different variants of the product they have, different flavor options or ingredient options that they have within that, a lot of photos around how to use the product, frequently bought together packages of the product, ingredients, expected results, FAQ sections, reviews, all of that we had included. That really helped in geo optimization here. Apart from that, what is very important is adding product return policy. We see a lot of people and companies not sort of explicitly mentioning those, but that is definitely very important aspect as well for you to basically get a lot of these citations and mentions from AI sources. And as I briefly mentioned, the FAQ sections, be it in your collection pages, home pages, product pages, as long as you can clarify from different angles what your product service offers and what are the questions that people are asking, you will be in a good spot. Now, content is definitely another big piece that a lot of people are, have different theories about what works in AI. Should I write an AI generated content or not? Should I, talk a lot like LLM? Should I just use ChatGPT language and that would basically put me up there? The main insight that we've had here is that having a lot of depth in your content and then refreshing it based on relevant information and data is usually very, very important. So this is one of the articles that we wrote for our own website. And we, as you can see here, this was more of like a research on that topic where we broke down that topic from different aspects, be it like a comparison between different models, like a graphical representation of that, adding a lot of tables, answering different questions that people have, as well as showing different testimonials from other people proving a point as well in the article. So these elements are usually very important. One other big change here that is very important is the code change that helps basically AI bot crawlers to crawl through your site. As you can see on the right, we have this code snippet that we will also send in the follow-up, how you can enable AI crawlers to read through your site, and basically how LLMs are basically don't render JavaScript. So we have to be mindful of that while we create any of those sites for now. Lovely. So that takes us to the next section, which is what and how you should track all of these metrics. And basically, now that you have an understanding of how important AI search is and how important AI search optimization is for your brand, for enabling and unlocking instant checkout feature also, you might be wondering, what can I actually do actionable to get started here? Basically, for AI search optimization, the number one thing would be to finding the prompts that your customers are discovering your brand from. Let's say you're a Zara and people search for your brand from, let's say, I want to find an affordable work outfit for women. Now, for that prompt that people are asking, you might have a good hunch about your brand, but you might also not know. So first, figuring out what are those questions, how can I get a better sense of those questions, let's say from a customer research angle or from what I've seen in my business, a lot of people ask. That is the number one thing you should be doing. Second is tracking what AI engines talk about your brand. You run that particular prompt that you think is important and you see what the answer is. You once you do that, you realize, okay, my brand is mentioned here or it doesn't talk about us. And you basically find what are the other people, other brands that are being mentioned here. Once you do an analysis of the different brands that are mentioned here, this would give you a better sense of, okay, this is the type of strategy that should be following, be it from a writing articles bit or basically optimizing your content on the site as well. Once you do that, then the next step is you create a list of all the different players in the market and where you rank within those. As you can see on the right, if we track 5 competitors, we calculate what's the visibility of ours, and let's say the 50, 100 different prompts that we have identified. And not just visibility, what's the sentiment of our brand there? It might be the case that you're mentioned in that answer, but you're negatively mentioned. Yeah, maybe the answer is saying you're not the best brand for that particular question. So that is also a big flag that you should recognize and sort of work towards. Then once you have that industry analysis picture, then understanding what are those particular prompts on which you are not being mentioned, but your competitors are sort of coming across. So that analysis is super important, as I mentioned before, to understand what are they doing right, how can I basically learn from their strategy and implement that so that I can beat my competitors on AI search. After doing all of this analysis, writing content, as I mentioned before, that LLMs love citing relevant, in-depth, using a lot of analysis, data analysis, bullet points, having very fresh perspective to the point that you're writing. So all of those are very, very important. And basically creating a content calendar of sorts with priority that you feel based on the prompts that you have seen that you're missing visibility on. That is the next thing that you should be doing here. Once you've done all of those analysis and actions, the last thing in the puzzle is to track the AI traffic and revenue to understand even if you're going in the right direction or not. We've seen this across different clients ourselves. Some of the search engines, offer better results in terms of the revenue that they drive for the brand. So being mindful of where am I getting the most traffic and whatever content I'm writing, is it actually converting into customers or not, is the last piece here. Now, that looks like a lot of hard work, and we've done that initially manually, where we've understood a lot of problems for different brands, and we did this in-house, only to realize that there is a much smarter way and harder and easier way to do this. That's where we built this product called Passionfruit Labs. This is just a 1 minute glimpse of the product that we would love to show you.
Buyers now use ChatGPT to directly purchase products. Brands optimized for visibility on AI earn 10 times more discovery, and AI search traffic converts 4.4 times better than traditional search. Yet most marketers drown in tools that provide non-actionable data and no impact attribution. Proven with $374 million in revenue, 30.5 million leads, and 1.5 billion impressions, Passionfruit brings enterprise-level AI growth at marketer-friendly pricing. Passionfruit Labs bridges that gap by aligning AI discovery with revenue. Instead of guessing what prompts drive exposure, Passionfruit creates a query list for you proven to capture LLM citations. Through share of voice analysis, you gain clear visibility into how often your brand appears across AI search engines, pinpointing strengths and uncovering blind spots. Sentiment analysis adds another layer by tracking how AI systems describe your brand, flagging inaccurate or negative responses. With competitor benchmarking, you can see exactly where they are winning and which of their pages are being cited. And because results matter, revenue attribution connects every click, lead, and conversion back to AI discovery. So you measure impact in revenue, not dashboards. Most importantly, you get targeted action recommendations for you to scale your visibility. Don't have bandwidth? You can assign tasks directly to the Passionfruit team and request expert-led strategy sessions, embedding human expertise into the workflow. Discover how AI search can fuel your growth. Start your free trial at labs.getpassionfruit.com today.
This was just a small glimpse of what our product offers. So the main benefit that we think from that you'll definitely get from using a product like this is all of the manual tasks that you'll have to do for being, cited by LLMs that you can automate here and cut down the time that it'll take for you to get cited and drive measurable results from here. We are also launching our product on Product Hunt tomorrow. Definitely the free trial, you can access this today as well. It's on our website. We'll share you the link. It's a free trial. You can use your, put all of your prompts there. We auto suggest you prompts to put there and track revenue from AI search today itself. Your support, once we launch it tomorrow, would mean the world to us. We'll share the link to our Product Hunt page tomorrow. If you like the product, maybe leave a upvote there and comment your genuine feedback. We would really appreciate that. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining in. A surprise definitely awaits you. As we promised, there's a complimentary AI search audit that we'll do for you. So you can scan this QR code and basically fill out this 1 minute long form, and we'll reach out to lucky winners for the geo optimization audit. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks everyone for joining. Any questions that we can take right now, happy to do that. If you folks are not able to share that right now, I've dropped in our email address. You can just drop your questions over an email as well.
Lovely, lovely. Any other questions that we can take? Yeah, scanner, let me show again here. Thank you so much, Ankita, for joining.
Thanks, Ankita.
So Adrena has a question. Does doing your branding research via ChatGPT have any effect on ChatGPT learning about your brand for its suggestions? It does. So e- essentially, how ChatGPT works is it stores memories of the different chats that you've had with it. So let's say you are doing some branding research, you're talking about your brand, and you're saying, this is what I want to, that's my goal, that's my sort of vision with the brand, or you're talking about other things about your brand. That would definitely color the results, even later on, where you ask it questions about, let's say, what my customers might be searching and everything. For that reason, we would suggest, let's say, if you're searching for prompts, doing that on an incognito so that it's not colored by your past history and message chat. But apart from that, our product definitely would give you those unbiased prompts that would drive the most revenue with the free trial. So you could definitely use that as well. Definitely let me know, Adrina, if that question was answered correctly. If you need any more support or help here, happy to answer the question further.
And if you folks have follow-up questions, you can just unmute and ask. That's completely fine.
For sure. So cost after trial depends on the plan that you're on. We have a $19 plan for 20 prompts that you can track. So you can, after 1 week trial, as you feel the use of it, you can definitely use that. And let's say you want to scale your visibility and you want to track, let's say, more prompts. Once you see the benefit of something like this, you should be able to track up to 120 prompts using the $99 plan we have. Lovely. Yashwant, we have got your number. We'll reach out to you post this. Lovely, lovely. So if no one else has any other questions, we would love to take your leave. Again, thank you so much for your time today, and really, really excited to sort of help you in future if any need be, and would love again for your support on the product as well as the trial if you like.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.